friends, it's Kai. I decided I want to start doing some tarot readings for you guys. I've done a little bit in the past, and I don't know. It just feels like it's time for that again. Please ignore all of this mess and chaos over here. But yeah, I have a few piles for you to pick from. This is just going to be the deck that I'm using because all the rest of mine are elsewhere, and I don't honestly feel like going and getting them. But these are our three piles that you can choose from. Ignore the dog hair on literally all of them because these bottles have oil in them, which means some of them have oil on them and it's hard to pick. But this is going to be pile number one. This is my money oil. All these are oils that I've made myself. I used to sell them. I don't know if I even still have them up anywhere. I may or may not put it back out there if people really want it. I don't know. We'll see. Not the point. Now you're gonna self-advertise, I promise. But yeah, so this is my money oil. I'll just give you a little close-up on that. It's very self-explanatory. It just is supposed to bring money to you. So there's that. Now, these I chose because I was looking at them on my windowsill and I was like, oh, I need 3 things for my pick-a-pile reading that I'm gonna do. And they just felt like what I was supposed to grab. So they're probably going to be related to the reading, but we'll see. I'm not going to only look into money stuff for the money oil one and so on and so forth. So there's that. This is my attraction oil. It says Wicked Thorns. It's an old Target. Actually, these are technically all Target bottles. No, this one was Dollar Tree. Chaos magic for you. But yeah, I'm going to give you a little close up. It's attraction oil. Oh, you know what? Just realized I literally have a light that I can turn on for this reason. But yeah, so this is the attraction oil. Again, please ignore all the pet hair. Yeah. Attraction for like romantic partners or bringing things to you, etc. Give you a little bit of a better look at the money oil one as well. Well, the ring light makes it a little bit difficult, but anyways. And then this is my Siren Spray. This one is more of a cologne that's used for, it can be lustful. It can also just be really intense calling things to you. It can be dominance magic. So if you've got like conflict in your life and you need like a little bit of that Empress energy to be like, don't fuck with me, that's what this is for. So those are our 3 options. Please ignore my cat scratching in the background. I'll give you a second to choose and then we'll get started. Okay, let's go ahead and move these back. I'll probably keep whichever one is current up on the screen over here. That way there we go, that's good enough. Okay, so let's look into your July for pile number 1. Oh, okay. All right. And I am going to start doing pick a card readings more on this channel. Just like let me know if there are certain topics that you want me to talk about more. I'm more than happy to do that. But yeah. So right off the bat, we have 8 of Wands is the bottom of the deck energy. This is the Halloween tarot, by the way. This is my tried and true favorite deck. Highly recommend. Every time I try and switch to a different main deck, this one's like, I'm just kidding. And the card that literally flew out for you immediately is the 7 of Cups. So this card is, every time I look at it, I hear Selena Gomez's cover for Wizards of Waverly Place of that song where it's like, everything is not what it seems. And I hear that one line. So there's a little bit about that, but this card is also about having a lot of options to choose from. This is the cups also, like ghosts are cups in this deck. So this could be about having to juggle a lot of things in your life and struggling to figure out which ones you can get rid of and which ones you should really be prioritizing the energy on. We've also got all 4 elements here, which is interesting. We've got fire, earth, I believe that is, or maybe that's supposed to be water. It's a diamond. Oh, maybe these aren't the 4 elements. I don't know. We've got a dragon, a diamond, a serpent, and a castle. Regardless, this is about cups, and I'm also looking at the rocket on the flag right here about like launching, you know, taking off, starting something new. So maybe you've got a lot of like creative ideas in your head and you don't really know which one to start with, which one to focus on. And because of that, we've got Eight of Wands on the bottom of the deck, which to me, most of the time is about like misplaced energy. Wands are very like action focused and passion focused, passion based, whatever. And this one is like, if you look at the card, they're all shooting in very different directions. They could all assemble and like make their own little like squad or team or whatever and like go out towards one goal, right? And they could very easily like, okay, well, we got it, boys, you know, like we have all the shots we need to take. But instead they're all like, I'm gonna go this way. Well, I'm gonna go this way. Yeah, well, I'm gonna go this way and I'm gonna go over here. You need to organize your thoughts a little bit better. There's like a little bit too much chaos in your head. And as someone who like, my handle on my social medias is Chaos and Moss. So like, I can't say shit about having a whole lot of chaos, right? Like chaos can be good. It can help you accomplish certain things if you use it correctly. But it feels like you are kind of overwhelmed and overtaken with all of this chaos and this stress. So what do we do about it? Let's see. Interesting. Ooh, Two of Cups is always a very good card to get in a reading. Okay. We have the Nine of Cups. And we've got the World. What is it that makes you feel happy? This card also is often about like wish fulfillment for me. So it feels a little bit like that. Like, what is it that makes you feel like, oh my God, I would be the luckiest person in the world if I could do that? This feels kind of career based, maybe a little like creativity based as well. But it very much feels like, yeah, look what I did. Like all these haters are jealous. Look at all of them talking shit, being mad, but pretending to be my friend because they want what I have, but they can't have it, which is like the chest that he's sitting on. Keeping secrets to yourself, I just heard. Yeah. So this could be about like a passion you've had since you were a child. This could be about something that like you've seen and you've been like, oh, you know what? That would be really cool if I ever got the opportunity to do that. Like, how lucky is this person who gets to do that? Like, it feels very much like that. What do you envy when other people are able to do it? And how do you make that happen for yourself? And the World, again, like, the world is your oyster. Like, you can plant any seed that you possibly want to, but you have to actually do the planting of that seed. Like, okay, so you're in this little cocoon right here, right? You got to break out, but you have to choose a direction first. This is another, I think this deck just likes to do it a lot where like they'll give you a bunch of the elements. I don't know if these are supposed to be elements necessarily, but like eels are in water, bats are in air, reptiles are on earth, and I guess whatever that is, scorpions are maybe associated with fire or something. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not. Also just funny, Needhug was here. I don't know who that's supposed to be, but it also feels a little bit like you're thinking about how do you leave your mark on the world in like a way that's going to make you proud. And whatever that is, like there's so many ways you can go, but, and here's the important thing, I think too, you don't have to pick a direction and stick to it for the rest of your life. But you do have to pick a direction and just start going. You can always change it later if you decide, you know what, actually, this isn't working for me. This isn't something I really enjoy. That's totally fine. That's part of the process. But you do have to actually choose. Like, you do actually have to start walking in a direction. Because if you start walking over here, but you also want to walk over here, but you also want to walk over here and also over here, well, you're just stuck at a standstill. And that's kind of where you're at, where you're like, you're swimming in your thoughts. And you're like, man, I really want to be this Nine of Cups. I really want to be like, yeah, fuck all the haters. But you can't get there until you choose a direction and like a way to get to that point. Do you know what I mean? That feels important. And again, Two of Cups, bringing things together. You've got to find that one that like either makes your heart swell like, oh, I love this thing so much, or that is just like something that you feel like is maybe more realistic to start off with to like bring together. I think that's important. 'Cause like if you think it's cool to like learn this new skill, and you're like, yeah, maybe eventually, like 10 years down the line, I could make a career off of that. In the meantime, I also really love writing, and I could start doing that now, but like if I want to learn this other thing, then I can't really focus on the writing, can I? I mean, you could technically do both, but you do have to focus on one over the other. So I think that's important for you. I really wasn't trying to go just based on the oil it was in. That's insane. That's actually insane. But it just has happened that way. I guess that's why we, chose this path. Queen of Pentacles, she's in charge of her money and nobody can tell her otherwise. She knows what's best for herself and she is not willing to, again, I feel like she's not willing to reveal the secrets. I feel like that's important for you. There's something about like, you need to learn how to move in silence when you're working on something creative. Maybe you're a little bit too quick to share things before they're actually really done or like ready to be shared. I think that's important for you, is you need to learn how to keep things kind of closer to your chest like she is. That like this pumpkin is not leaving her side, right? Like nobody can come up and be like, oh, that's cool, let me just take a scoop out of that. No, because her hand's already around it, right? Do you know what I mean? Oh, okay. And this is kind of an interesting thing. We have the Two of Cups. So I think this section is just about how to make things come together. You have got to get out of your head about it. You have got to stop like, oh no, which one do I choose? Oh God. It's like the thing I'm thinking about, like that game or whatever, where like, it's like word association, right? Like, oh, what's the first word that comes in your head when I say this? And then that's what you go with. Instead of being like, oh, I said tree, so I'm going to say, leaves. No. What was the first thing that genuinely came to your mind when they said tree, right? So definitely a little bit of that. Stop overthinking it. Cause like also it feels almost like you're talking yourself out of it. And like the anxieties and laying here and all the what ifs and like, yeah, but like it won't work because technically I didn't win my poetry slam back in high school. And so why would I start poetry again now? Because clearly I'm not good enough. Shut the fuck up with that. No. Bad. Yeah, you just gotta stop thinking about it and just start doing it. Like for real, get out of your head about it. And just make the decision and get started. Like be the emperor, make the executive decision. You know what? Fuck it. Like maybe we'll change it later, but for right now, I want to do writing. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do some writing. Like it is that easy. So I think you need to do that. You need to just like stop holding yourself back. I'm looking at the chain around his shoulders right now. He's got power in his hands, but there's a chain around his shoulder. Oh no, what's he gonna do? You know how you get around that chain? You simply slip down in the chair and then you can sit straight back up and you're out of the chain. It is literally that easy. And also that's kind of the same thing with the Two of Swords as well, right? Like you can just take the bandana off of yourself and you can take care of both of them if you really want to. If you want to make that choice for yourself, that's fine. But you do actually have to make it. So yeah. Just start. Just get started. Like you have to stop getting in your own way about it. Yeah. That's pretty much all I'm seeing for you. It seems like a really good and fruitful and exciting time is coming for you. You just, again, stop getting in your own way. Because right now, that's really all you're doing. But yeah, that is going to be it. Thank you for watching. If you would like to get an individual reading from me, please feel free. I should have my link tree listed on this channel. If not, if I haven't gotten around to that yet, you can just find me. Look on TikTok at Chaos and Moss. I'm also on Instagram by that name. And my link tree is literally linktr.ee, however they do their links, /Chaos and Moss, and you can find the link to order readings from me. I am more than happy to do individual readings, and obviously it'll be much more precise when that's the case. But yeah, so please go order a reading from me if you'd like to, and if not, make sure that you subscribe, like the video, whatever you want to do. But regardless, thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed your reading. Okay. Squish that a little bit. Okay, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. This is your attraction oil over here. I'm just gonna shuffle this a little bit. why some of my cards are randomly in reverse. They are not supposed to be in reverse at all. This oil, again, like I said, is attraction oil. It is usually about romantic things. I'm not going to focus on romantic relationships, but the last one was for money oil, and it did end up being about like creativity and career and stuff like that. So like, if it comes up, I'm not going to be like, well, I'm not looking at romance. So we'll see. Okay. So let's see what pile 2 needs to here for July. Specifically, we are focusing on the month of July. Which the last one, I don't know if we fully ended up focusing on the month. Oh, interesting. I'm not going to talk about romance. The cards, bullshit. 2 of Cups right here. And 6 of Wands, which is success, victory, things moving forward. Maybe going to the next level in your relationship. So that's exciting. Okay, let's get a little bit more clarification. What exactly is going on in your love life for June? Because maybe that is exactly why you chose this pile in the first place. I mean, July, not June, I'm sorry. Whatever the next month is. The Empress and the Queen of Wands. Okay, so you are not chasing somebody. Somebody is chasing you. You are, or at the very least, maybe you have done some chasing, but it's time for you to like relax into it. And you are absolutely doing that. You are sitting back. You are accepting being lavished in gifts. They're taking you out. They're putting in all this effort. And you're like, okay, more. I'll take it. Yes, please. Like, it feels very like you're ready to receive. Maybe you have spent so much of your life like not receiving those gifts and like being the one to like give way too much in any kind of relationship, short-term, long-term, casual, not casual, monogamous, poly, whatever the case may be, maybe even platonic. This feels very romantic. Maybe it's platonic for you, but it feels like romantic. And it seems like you have finally, I heard like met your match. I don't think that's necessarily just the case. Like, yeah, I think you may have met your match, at least in like one regard. But it's not just that. It's not just that like they're a good match for you. It's that like literally they are willing. They're like a simp. This person is literally like, what can I do to get you? Like, can I take you out on dates, please? Like, can I send you pizza when you're hungry and you don't want to cook for yourself, even though you've got the money to get yourself some pizza? Shut up. It's fine. I'll get it for you. What's your address? Let me put it in and send it to you. It feels just like, yes. Like, it feels like lavish. I don't know. I'm just like, nom. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. Like, you're eating it up. You're eating up. It's like attention and affection to a degree that like boosts your ego. And I feel like maybe you need that a little bit. Maybe in the past you haven't been, maybe you've been a little bit hard on yourself and you haven't always been like, yeah, I'm so attractive and I deserve blah, blah, blah. Like, again, it feels like in the past, you definitely have been like, it's fine. I'll give up my practice today, or, you know, maybe I'll skip this time hanging out with my friends because my partner wants to hang out, or like, oh, well, my partner wants to do this. I want to do this other thing, but like, I guess I'll go do what my partner wants to do because that's what a good partner would do, and then they don't reciprocate. You're finally finding somebody who is not only willing to reciprocate, but willing to initiate. Someone that like you want to go on a date with them and they go, I got you, I got the details, and they actually do. Like, instead of being like, oh yeah, for sure, I'll plan us a date. And then closer to, they're like, so what do you want to do for our date? And then you end up still having to essentially plan it. Maybe they are the one who calls and makes the reservation, but like you were still the one being like, okay, fine, let's go to this restaurant, then let's go do this thing, and let's go do that. Like, it feels like someone who was actually willing to put in the effort that you deserve as the fucking Empress, my dude. So, there's that. I want to see what else. What else should we be looking for? The way the Queen of Wands just jumped out again. Death in reverse. Is that supposed to be in reverse? Let me see. None of my cards are supposed to be in reverse in this deck. I don't read reversals in this deck unless it seems very deliberate. So I don't know what's up with that. Yeah. Again, this is just more about like transformation. We got death, which doesn't mean literally you're gonna die. It just means maybe a past version of you is gonna die. Maybe, you know, a bad situation is gonna die. And you're gonna then transform into a beautiful butterfly. Like, it's okay, on this card, for example, like the pumpkins that are rotting, right? There are seeds in those pumpkins that once they rot, the rotting is going to fertilize those seeds and then it's going to grow more pumpkins. Do you see what I mean? It feels like that. It feels like that kind of transformation. Like even if this romance or whatever, maybe you're just on dating apps and you get bored and you find someone who makes you feel good for a little while and they're willing to do all this stuff for you and it doesn't end up lasting. It's just like a short-term fling that's just really just supposed to make you feel attractive. That's totally fine. It's still going to help you with your self-growth. And that seems like the whole point. Like it seems like right now you are just in a self-care season. I I briefly worked with Aphrodite. I say briefly, it was like a year. In like the beginning of my paganism beginnings and whatever. And we had, oh my God, so much of that. And there was like an era where it was like, it didn't matter what happened or what I did. The focus was always self-care and self-love. And I don't just mean, oh, it's a hot summer and you're stressed about money, go take a hot bath. Not necessarily. I mean, there were a lot of ritual bubble baths involved, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't just that. It was like, okay, you're going to sit down and you're going to take care of your taxes now. You're going to take care of this thing that's stressing you the fuck out so that you can actually breathe and feel happy, because you can't feel attractive if you're too worried, stressing out about whether or not you're going to have a car next month. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like it feels like you are ending an era where you put everything above yourself and where you thought, one, that like beauty was the most important thing and that like if you didn't have it, you just weren't worthy or whatever, or that you didn't have it at all and you weren't worthy of it or whatever. That is going away. No more of that. We're done. That's also why the Tower's here. Don't get scared and run away. Again, you got the Tower and the Death card. Both of those are often like, a lot of people hate this card and they're like, oh no. And listen, I'm a little guilty of it too. Like I don't always love seeing the Tower in my readings for myself. But it's not inherently bad. The Tower is just rapid, fast change. And right now, it's like the lore of the Tower, right, is that like you have to tear down the Tower because it's built on shaky foundations, and then you build it back up with like stronger foundations, and then it's all good. The shaky foundations here feel like where you put your worth. Again, a lot of this, like there's romance here. There's something boosting your ego, but this feels mostly like so much inner work. Like, yes, there are people giving you gifts, making you feel just lavish and beautiful and loved and whatever, even by people maybe you're not even that attracted to them. Honestly, maybe that's a thing here. Maybe you're like, listen, if you want to simp over me, you are more than welcome to. Send me money, send whatever. Like, okay, I'll send you a feet pic. I don't know. Maybe that's the case, and honestly, good for you. Like, whatever works, right? That may or may not be the case, but I think for some of you, it very much might be kind of like a, well, I'm not really attracted to you, but you make me feel good about myself, so whatever, here's something else, I guess. But the main thing that it's all coming down to and getting at is not necessarily this like lifelong romance. This feels a lot more like surface level, short-term ego boost. Mostly it feels like, again, this is about self-worth and feeling like you actually deserve good things coming your way. You deserve not only equality in a relationship, but to sometimes actually be put first by yourself and by the other person. And that you shouldn't have to demand that the other person like prioritizes you over something that maybe shouldn't be put over a relationship. There's a lot of like past toxic relationship trauma, I feel like that's going to be undone. I just saw another reverse card and I do not understand when my cards got all shuffled like this. Sorry. Of course it was the Six of Cups. Okay. Let's get a little bit more like advice, any other kind of like, okay. like meanings from your team or whatever that they want you to know. Sorry. Okay, we did get the Knight of Wands, which is exciting. Charge forth passion. That does feel a little bit lustful, so good for you. Oh my God, it's the Queen of Wands again. Do whatever feels good right now. You need to charge forward and just like, yes, even when it feels new and weird and awkward and something that like, ooh, I'm almost, and yeah, results aren't going to happen overnight. I'm almost feeling like like you're channeling somebody. You have got to be kidding me. That's literally what this card is, like pretending like, oh no, yeah, same. Literally, we are the same in this way, and I definitely know what I'm doing, even if you don't. It feels like channeling someone else's energy, almost like, well, you know what? Like, this person that I look up to would do it this way. So that's what I'm going to do now. If, like, they would be like, yeah, get on your knees, bitch. That's what I'm going to say. Even if I would never feel comfortable saying that now, because what does it matter, right? This person's just a fling. Like, it's not like, you know, they're your coworker. This is something fun to play with. And that very much is what I'm feeling for you. Like, putting on a new persona just to play around and boost your own ego. And like, honestly, good for you. It seems like you need that. And it seems like it's very fun for you. And maybe you'll learn things about yourself that you didn't know along the way. So honestly, we are here for that. Last card, Justice and Ten of Bats. Stop overthinking it. Stop feeling like you don't deserve things coming your way. Justice, like, the scales are being balanced. If you, like, I feel like maybe this is a little bit of like, yeah, but like, you know, this person's doing so much for me and I feel like I need to be doing more in balancing the scales. Girly pop, listen, if they're willing to do that much for you and it's very clearly communicated from the beginning, hey, this isn't a serious thing, okay, let them do it for you. You're balancing the scales just by receiving. Like, stop getting in your head and feeling like you're not worthy of this and feeling like you're asking too much from people. You're literally not. You're still, even with this, it's like you're still kind of accepting the bare minimum and thinking that it's like huge praise. So like, for real, stop worrying about it. I promise you're fine. But yeah. That's all I have for you. If you would like to order an individual reading from me, we can definitely go more into depth. I should have my link listed in my channel bio here, but if not, it's link the Linktree link. You know how it's like linktr.ee/ and then it's Chaos and Moss, the 3 words just like all together. Or you can find me on TikTok at Chaos and Moss, Instagram Chaos and Moss, wherever you want. If you would like a reading and you can't find that link, which if you find me on social media, the link tree should be in my bio. If you can't find it, feel free to DM me and I will definitely send you the link and be like, yes, we can set up a reading, because I like to talk about what we're doing ahead of time anyways. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel and let me know if there are any other pick a cards specifically that you would like me to do in the future, because I do want to start doing this more. And yeah, that's all for today, and thanks for watching. Have a good July. It seems like you definitely will. Okay. All right. Hello, pile 3. This is your reading. You got the siren spray. I'm going to put it like in the corner where you can still kind of see it, but it's also kind of out of the way. I think right there is probably fine. But yeah, so I'm not focusing exactly on like the energy of the thing, but like the first 2 definitely lined up with that. I wouldn't be surprised if you ended up choosing all 3, because I feel like they're all 3 going to be different and like aligned with the oil / cologne that like was put out for them. So if you're watching all 3 of them, hello, totally fine, welcome, how's it going? The first one focused more on like career and stuff. Second one more on like, you know, romance, self-love, that kind of thing. This one, we're gonna see what it goes into. This one definitely feels a little more like dominance focused. Let's see how that goes. So let me do my little thing real quick. All right. Let's see what pile 3 needs to hear. Your cards are already, ooh, the devil, no surprise, are already so much more chaotic, like, and just in the way that they're coming out. Also, Knight of Wands, of course you did. Of course you did. You got the siren spray. Of course you got the Knight of Wands. The first face-up card is the devil. This one can be about temptations. It can also be about lust and that kind of thing. It can be about kinkiness if you look at like the things attached to their necks. We're not going to specifically necessarily go into detail on that, but that's, you know, that could be part of it. Why do you have all fire cards? I shouldn't be surprised because it is the Siren's favorite. Oh my fucking god, this is crazy. Okay, Page of Wands, 4 of Wands. Okay, The last person was meeting their match to a degree. This group, you are meeting your match in a very specific way. You are... I'm not getting into this. I'm going to skip right past this, but just briefly, I need to say, if you are looking into exploring kink, it seems like July is a good time to do it. It seems like you're going to have a good opportunity to really explore what it is that you're thinking about, because like, hello, you have the devil. I mean, it's fire energy in and of itself, but like literally that is what it's about. And then Page of Wands, starting something new, experimenting. It can be passions. It can also be other things. And then Four of Imps or Wands, which is like, this can be the soulmates card. I do often see this as soulmates, but specifically in the Wands and in the context of the rest of this, like it feels very much like, well, it could be, you know, kind of the switching thing that people do, like swinging and whatever, but it could also just be like you finally, like you've had relationships in the past that didn't quite satisfy you and you didn't know why, and then you explore this and you're like, oh, that's why, and then you find the people that actually make it work for you. And the Knight of Wands is just about charging forward in that regard. We are on YouTube. I'm not gonna get any deeper than that, and I am gonna reshuffle, but whoever that was for, you know who you are. The devil wants to stay out. It will have one more chance to pop out the next time. But yeah, bondage, hello. I just needed to say that like there are definitely some people who are going to be watching this reading that is a message for. So do with that what you will. Have fun. Okay, so what is July going to look like for you? What are we focusing on? What is the message? The world. How you interact with the world and see the dominance I knew was going to come out. I was going to say putting bitches in their place. I guess for some of you that might be the case, but just like speaking up for yourself and speaking things into existence in a way that's like non-negotiable. Very much, I mean, like if you see like the sword here like this, like it's not like you're like, hey, I would really like it if like people could stop talking shit about me, thank you. But if not, it's fine, no worries. Like if you were a people pleaser in the past, this is not the month for that. Whether you have to pull from somebody else's energy or not. Like if you, like I mentioned in the last one, kind of like, well, this person would do it this way, so I'm gonna do it this way, even though it's not true to myself. If you have to do that, totally fine. But it definitely feels like you need to be putting out boundaries, speaking up for what you want and for what you don't want, and not being willing to negotiate, not being like, yeah, that's the case, but like it's okay for this person though, because like they've called me by this name for like 10 years, and so like it's unreasonable to ask them to change, right? No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Don't settle for less. Don't let anybody talk you out of using your own voice for yourself. The fact that like I'm suddenly getting like bubbles in my throat, yeah. Take a deep breath, straighten up, sit in your power, and tell them where they can fucking go. For real. The way you interact with the world is the way the world is going to interact with you. It's like that thing, like you teach people how to treat you, because you really do. It's so true. It's so true. And it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. When you start setting boundaries and you start being like, no, I'm not accepting this anymore. And since you crossed this line again, I'm out and we're simply no longer friends. That hurts and it sucks. And the people who benefit from walking all over you are also going to try their best to make you feel like shit about it. Don't let them. Like, yeah, sure, if their words hurt you, that's valid. Like, obviously, it's not a painless process. But don't give them the satisfaction of being like, how could you say that to me? I guess I have to walk back on my boundaries. I can't believe I did that to you. You're so right. No. Because if someone gets mad at you for having a boundary that is literally like, hey, I need things to be a certain way for me to feel comfortable and safe. And they're like, how dare you tell me to stop taking advantage of you? Hello? That person does not deserve to be in your life in the first place. That's a message for somebody. Somebody else, yeah. Somebody else is in conflict. Maybe it's, I feel like most people, but for some people, it's just the boundaries. For some people, it's something more like, so quick backstory. When I first made this, it was because I was working in a really toxic workplace with people who were honestly awful and talk shit about everybody every chance they could get. And the second I stopped going along with that, because my people pleasing tendencies, at first I went along with it, and eventually I had to be like, hey, I'm actually not cool with this anymore. And the second I was saying, hey, I'm not cool with this anymore, it switched to me and I became the target. And obviously that sucked, especially being my workplace where I spent 40 plus hours a week, like however much, like I was working overnights, I was doing all this other shit, like it was a lot. I loved that job. I put so much of my heart and soul into it, and then for it to suddenly turn around and everybody be like, actually no, you suck, and like to the point that like things were we don't need to go into the details, but it was really, really, really bad. And it became a situation where I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter if I'm uncomfortable about it or not. These people are treating me like garbage, and I need to do something about it. So when I made this initially, it was more as like a domination thing specifically, where like when I'd wear it, people would immediately be like, oh, I want their approval. I want them to like me. I want them to think that like I like them and that we're friends, and that, it was that kind of thing. Like, I want you to be forced to treat me well. I want you to not have the option to sit there and pretend like we're fine and then turn around and talk shit with like whatever we talked about just now. Like, I don't want you to have the ability to turn anything against me, right? I want these people to be vying for my attention and vying for my affection and want me to like them so bad that they don't understand why that's the case, which is why I went with siren stuff specifically, because, right, sirens lure people to their deaths. And like the myths, like they sing and it's this beautiful song and they're like this sexy woman, and this man is like, oh, I'm so in love and I would do anything, and then they drown themselves for them. Right, like that's the mythology. So I was trying to kind of embody that energy a little bit, just a little bit, to make people like stop their behaviors and instead want my approval so desperately that they would change to make that happen. I think you need a little bit more of that. You need a little bit more of like, this is my life and I will not let you treat me this way. I refuse to be walked all over. I refuse to be the laughing stock for whatever fucking reason you've decided. 'Cause there are people trying to like, oh my God, can you believe? Like, there are people who will take as much from you as they possibly can. There are people who will walk all over you, who will bring you into their life just so that they can get a bunch of stuff from you. And then the second that like you just aren't exactly as pleasing to them as before, you aren't giving them as much stuff or as much of your time, you aren't bending over backwards and sacrificing yourself just so that like they can get something a little bit extra that's not even a necessity, but like your needs are not only not being met, but like you're dying of thirst, essentially, metaphorically speaking, of course. That's not worth it. It's not like it's unequal relationships, but it's not just that. It's people who like actively benefit from you being a doormat, and those people need to fucking go. And you know that, High Priestess, you are already aware of that. So you need to. I just saw like a mirror. I did a mirror spell a while back with one of these people, and it was very much like okay, you're gonna treat me like shit, fine, this can go both ways. Now listen, it wasn't the most fun either of us have ever had in our lives, I'm sure, but there needs to be a little bit of that, a little bit of like, yeah, I'm one of you too, and you better not fuck with me because you can't walk all over me. Not only that, but like, you try it with me, I'll turn it around on you. Like, what, like, it feels like it's just time to stand up to people. It just is. Like, and you might be watching this going like, yeah, but like, I don't want to sow discord in my workplace and maybe I need to wait. Or like, I don't want to make it complicated because X, Y, Z. Listen, disclaimer, if it is genuinely an unsafe situation, do what you got to do to survive and get the fuck out of there, but make sure you do get out of there. Obviously, that is a different situation. But if it's just a situation where someone is just being shitty and walking all over you, you don't want them in your lives anyway. So who cares if you cause them a little bit of stress and chaos and pain? Because you know what? They probably deserve it at this point. And if causing them pain, like if you setting a boundary and saying, hey, stop treating me like shit, causes them pain and friction in their lives, like, need I say more? Like, that means that they are already actively like benefiting so much from you not standing up for yourself. It's just not equal. It's just not right. So July For you is going to be a lot of boundary setting, and like that might mean that there's more chaos in your life and more conflict, and July is the time, like things might amp up in July so that you have an opportunity to put people in their place. Like, which is shitty. Obviously that sucks. But sometimes that's how it has to be. My spirit team definitely does that sometimes. If I am pushing away a lesson long enough and I'm like, la, 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 I can't hear you, eventually they will put it right in front of me, and I will have no choice but to address it and to change my behavior and do something to make sure that that I'm not going to be in this situation again. Like, things have to get bad sometimes for me before I will make a change and sacrifice something to make it good. And it feels like that's what July is going to be about for you. It's going to be about a lot of change and a lot of, no, you don't get to talk to me that way. Even in little ways, I almost feel like it's like little tests. It's like, are you ready yet? You know? Yeah. I feel like that's mostly it. The lovers, if this has to do with a relationship where someone's treating you poorly, get out of it. Stop putting off breaking up with them because, well, but we've been together for so long and like I love them. Like, you know, yeah, they kind of treat me like shit, but sometimes they're nice to me and they buy me flowers and take me out on dates, right? So like it's fine. No, it's not fine. You deserve someone who makes you feel good, not someone who makes you in fight or flight. Mic drop. Yeah. So that is your reading. If you would like me to do an in-depth personal reading for you, especially to get to the bottom of what any of this is about specifically, I'm more than happy to dive in. I have options for recorded readings and also for live readings. There should be a link in the channel bio. If not, just find me at Chaos and Moss on TikTok, on Instagram, or even Linktree. Like the way their link is linktr.ee/Chaos and Moss. That's my link tree, and you will find a link there for buying readings, spell work even. I do personal spell work. I can do a siren spell for you if you would really like me to. Absolutely down. Yeah, and if you have any questions about anything, maybe you're interested in ordering something but you don't know exactly what, or you're not sure, whatever, feel free to message me on any of those platforms I mentioned before, and I'll do my best to get to you and we'll figure something out. So yeah. And be sure to subscribe to this channel. Let me know if there are any pick a cards you would like for me in the future, or just like general readings or anything like that. If you want me to focus on a love reading, on a career reading, whatever. Whatever you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. I am planning to do a lot more of these. This is just kind of my like, hey, we're back in the space again reading. But yeah, we're definitely looking to expand this and do this more and more. So definitely let me know what you want to see. And that's all for now. Thank you so much for your reading. Thank you so much for being here. And again, if you were here for more than one reading or all three of them, you're the MVP. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.